Welcome back to Final Fantasy I Pixel Remaster. We appear to have reached the very end of the Chaos Shrine, at least I think so, and we are confronted with the mastermind behind everything. Now, since I read out the dialogue of the Four Fiends, I'm gonna have to read this, but just bear in mind, I am not Christopher Sabat, so don't expect any of that level of voice acting here. Do you remember me? I was once the most renowned knight of Cornelia. 2,000 years from now, you killed me. I am Garland. My first name is definitely not Jack. Don't remind me, never bring up that past. Oh, you did defeat me then, but the four great forces saved me by sending me back through time. Once here, I sent the Four Fiends into the future, where they shall once again use the four great forces to send me into the past. In 2,000 years, I'll remember none of this. But I will be reborn again here. You see, it was all a plot to maintain a time loop so that no one would ever remember my embarrassing edgelord past. So even as you die again and again, I shall return, born again into this endless cycle that I have created. Okay, that's a cool background. That's a really cool background. Also, he has faces on his body. That's creepy. But yes, this is Chaos. Garland was Chaos all along. Plot twist. Yes, so, I'm assuming that his original motivation, and not my silly headcanon motivation of him trying to erase his edgelord past, is that he kind of wants to be immortal and never die, basically, but... Anyway, this music's pretty cool, though, but I'm guessing that in the original version, he still got the normal battle theme. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and go for Giant's Gloves on you. Protera. Now I have my hastes back. I have these stuff. Can I speed drink Cetro, maybe? Cyclone, that's new. How much is that gonna do? Actually, a lot of damage. Okay. Yeah, I appreciate that damage coming from a final boss. I mean, I don't want to get too complacent here because this game hasn't been very difficult so far, but that could change. This music's actually pretty amazing. Okay, so you are gonna heal that off. I guess I can temper Duncan. Not a lot of damage there. Okay, 24 hits is good. Tsunami, right. Okay, so I'm guessing you're just using the power of all the elements. Does seem like the mages take less damage from those. Null All might be good here, but again, it only affects one person at a time. Is he gonna cycle through these? Maybe I could... He hasn't used electric or fire yet. I'm gonna use Null Blaze just preemptively. And I guess you'll continue to heal. Yeah, Speed Drink is its own status, okay. But I'm gonna go ahead and cast Haste on you. And I believe Duncan hasn't used the Giant's, Yeah, they just changed position because I must have used up a different item. Yeah, let's try using that on you. Oh, okay then. Right, at least that only affects your physical attacks, not your spell casting in this game. Okay, we're already resistant to fire then, I forgot about that. Okay, so now we are extremely buffed. Just like the 80s art for the game. Now I think we can just start going for full-on attacking. And try Holy. Alright, ooh. Right, that was through Protect as well. Okay, that's it. You are full lifing right now. Don't know if I'll even be able to get that in time. I'm really... I mean, Noah's pretty much at full health, so if he gets, like, one-shotted by Chaos's physical attack, then there's really not much I can do. Okay. Oh, are you serious? Okay, then. I'm hoping that's scripted, and that you don't just have a random chance of undoing all of my progress. We are definitely, buffed to the point where we can really pile on the damage, though. Saber, Protera, Haste. Okay, you aren't tempered yet, so let's do that. Okay, at least you're attacking Cetro there, but yeah, that's a lot of damage to do to Cetro. Honestly, I'm actually really impressed by this fight. This final boss is impressing me a lot. Like, the rest of the game was pretty not that, like... Most of the bosses, like, were kind of anticlimaxes apart from the first Fiend, but this is actually keeping me on my toes. I like it. That is as a final boss should be. Let's, Hiraja Cetro? I don't know if Flare is going to do more than the Masamune. Yeah, it was either you or Cetro. Okay, somebody needs to... We don't have, like, a full Phoenix down thingy. Ugh. Right, this is actually not good. Where are my elixirs? Got 3 of them. You. Uh-oh. Yeah, this is a problem. At least when he's using physical attacks, he can only take down 1 person per turn. So, if we keep this up... Okay, Cetro... The problem with haste is that it doesn't make your turns go before his. It just makes you, attack more. Because what I really want here is to be able to... go first and go for that healing before... Elixir, you... Oh, bad. Bad, bad, bad. Bad, 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 bad. Well, I at least got 1 elixir in. Really? Well, that was a waste of an elixir. Okay. This is actually getting kind of into... Oh, hi, Blizzaga. Okay, good. Didn't do a huge amount of damage, but, the chances of him getting another spell in before I get another heal in are incredibly... This is not good. This is really, really not good. Right. Oh, crap. Yeah, I had a feeling Duncan would die to that. I may actually be dead here. Yeah, because we don't really have much better in the way of revival. Uh-oh. Okay. Oh, this is the problem, because, okay, unless if he goes for, like, Flare or something, we might be dead here, but, I'm sort of having to plan out my turns as, like, contingencies, because I know, because, like, yeah, if he uses, like, Flare... Cetro will probably survive, maybe, but Noah won't. But if he uses a standard physical attack, then either Cetro or Noah goes down. But if Noah doesn't go down, because Cetro is more likely to get hit, then I'll be able to revive both. And he went for Blizzaga. Okay. Yeah, it's getting close to the point where I won't really be able to keep this up for much longer. I do have the X potions. Well, the X potion singular. Yeah, he gets his turn pretty much first, consistently. Okay, well, you're up with full health, which definitely gives me a lot more opportunities to do things, unless he decides to do that, like, twice. Yeah, I think I'm kind of trapped in a vicious cycle here. I may have failed this. Because he always seems to go first. And he loves to do that. Yeah, that's probably death. No, not really, but I'm just kind of prolonging the inevitable here. I just need to stay up long. And he can stun! Okay, yeah, well, just finish me, why don't you? So, right, that was, that final boss was way tougher than I expected, given how simple the rest of the game has been. And I think I've lost my one, like, extra level up since the last, autosave. Ribbon that guards against elemental attacks and status effects. Do we already have all of the nulls? I think maybe we do. Okay, so the plan this time... Just thinking, temper... No, haste is probably better than temper right now. I wonder if putting the Giant's tonic on you is actually good. So I'm thinking I may even need Invisra here. Even though it only really helps against his physical attacks. Because I've never really seen a spell miss in this game. Okay, that buffs your HP by quite a lot. In fact, maybe everyone is going to need those. Although in a sense, I kind of rather Duncan have it than Teal. Okay, do I have... Oh, I don't have Invisra, do I? Kind of glad I brought those Giant's tonics, honestly. Right, I forgot to use the ether. Really? That's annoying. I guess I'm doing this with a handicap then. So far, those aren't doing a whole lot of damage. Okay, now you can heal... Yeah, he always seems to go first, which is the problem. Of course, Cetro himself does have Invis. I could have him cast it on himself if I wanted to. Oh, that was only the second level heal. Yeah, I kind of wonder about... I'm gonna Invis yourself. Healgar... Yeah, everybody has temper on them, so you can probably get to spamming Flare, although he does use, eventually he does use, Curaja. Let's see if a true knight can defeat Chaos while invisible. In fact, you know what? I'm gonna invis you just because I really need you to stay alive. Must be interesting the kind of things you can do in this fight with different party combinations too. Yeah, who doesn't have a... I'm gonna actually have you use a Giant's Tonic on Duncan, who doesn't have one yet. Yeah, okay, let's get Invis on you. Yeah, who says buffs aren't good in Final Fantasy games? Buffs are actually pretty amazing in this fight specifically. I don't know if I'm, like, actually under level for this. I feel like a lot of players grinded for this back in the day. Because I feel like back in those days, simply beating games was kind of, you know, the challenge in itself. Like, it was... You know, there were all those ads from, like, Nintendo going, "You cannot beat us." It was like, just the very fact that you had beaten the game was a mark of recognition back then. I do have elixirs, I just realized. So... They're all pretty much fully healed right now. I hate having to drop an elixir just to restore spell uses, but, kind of want to see how much the Masamune does. But, I'm probably gonna have to use haste. Because Cetro's damage output is not good right now. Do really like this music, though. It definitely gives this battle a very dramatic, dramatic edge to it. Okay, now hastify him. Oh, he hasn't used that one before. Actually, did kind of less than most of the things we have. So yeah, I think that I didn't even need null orb because I think the ribbons already reduced damage from most elements. Now he hasn't used Curaja yet, and that makes me worried. Yeah, haste just makes a very dramatic increase in your overall damage. I am running out of healers. That is why I wanted Invis on you, and it didn't help, at least not for that hit. Don't know how much health this guy has. I wonder if it's over 10,000. It probably is. Yeah, he doesn't seem to be close to going down just yet. You are in fact going to Curaja yourself right now. Yeah, this music does do a good job of getting you pumped, though. So that's the thing, there isn't really a water element in this game, so I don't really know what you use to resist Tsunami. Maybe it's ice? And, like, yeah, I am actually getting very worried here because he has not used Curaja, so this is a lot of damage that I'm dealing right now that he could just reverse if he feels like it. Don't have any of those left. That's bad. That's really bad. Not full life. Oh, that's the same slot as... Okay, that's bad. Right. Somebody needs to... I guess I can Holy, and then someone else needs to... You have a worse damage output than Duncan, so, where am I? I suppose I can Dry Ether. Uh-oh. Yep, this is about where he starts getting kind of scary, and I want... No, he's down! He didn't even use Curaja! Is that random, or is that triggered by you taking a certain action? Like, I wonder, because I know that it reminds me of... Like, of Lucifer in the remastered version of, well, the Maniac's Chronicle version of Nocturne gets a move where he can use a full heal on himself. I think it's scripted, but anyway. And so, the time loop was severed at last. Garland had turned himself into chaos and put the world into a loop, hoping that no one would know that he used to be an edgelord who kept talking about wanting to kill Chaos. The endless struggle that raged over 2,000 years had ended, and peace prevailed once more. After only 2 game overs across the whole game, one to the final boss, the light of the 4 crystals restored the forces of wind, water, earth, and fire. It was a mere trick of fate that had given rise to the chain of Garland's wrath. but magnified by the four forces meant to guide our world. That trick of fate also gave birth to the fiends. So like what? It's like Garland kidnaps the princess, then you kill him, and then he gets saved by the four fiends, and then he's like, oh, okay, well, I can get my revenge by trapping you all forever in an eternal time loop. Monsters had run rampant as the world sank into darkness. But all that is now past. One thing that's actually kind of cool about Dragon Quest 1, sorry to talk about a different game, is that you do get to explore the world after beating the final boss, and there's no random encounters, and all the swamps have turned into, like, purified water, and it's just kind of a nice touch in that game. With the four forces flowing as they were meant, the warriors prepared to cross time and return to the world they knew. A world where Princess Sarah, Queen Jane, and even Garland himself... Wait, really? Wait, Garland is still there? They've averted the chain of events that caused him to become evil. That's interesting. When was this fateful day that sent time spiraling into a loop? None can say. Also, the Queen has a name, and I didn't realize that she had a name before. It seemed the cycle into which time had fallen would last forever, but the bravery of four young travelers changed that. They took the forces that filled the world with darkness and used them to bathe the world in light. So yeah, by killing the four fiends as rematches in the past, you prevent them from sending Garland back, and you prevent Garland from sending them forward, so I think that's how it works. So yeah, that breaks the loop. None will ever recall the struggle the four endured, for the breaking of the chain means that it never existed. So yeah, the four heroes of light, no one will ever celebrate their deeds because everything they did, yeah, no one remembers it. It's all a time loop that hasn't happened now. But within the tales of fantasy that people tell, the memory of their deeds lives on. Tales of dwarves and elves, of dragons and shining civilizations that reached for the heavens even as they fell. And now their return is soon upon us. That's a bit of an interesting double meaning in this version, because this is the return of the game itself. With the memory of their struggle buried deep in their hearts, they will quietly watch over our world. Remember always that the forces of the world must be used as they were intended, that the power of light must never be used for dark, and that the true crystals reside in your hearts. For you are the warrior who crossed time. I wonder if that gets quoted a lot, that warrior who crossed time line, because I feel like it's kind of important. You are the bringer of light. Sorry, it's still going. And that might be it. Just gonna wait to see if there are credits before I give my final thoughts on the game itself and everything that's happened. That's a nice dedication there, yeah. I wonder if they're going to be in the credits as well as the people who worked on the remaster. Because I think, like, back in the days when this first came out, a lot of programmers went by pseudonyms in the credits, because, like, it was a way to stop other studios from poaching the competition, apparently. But, yeah, that is the end of Final Fantasy 1 Pixel Remaster. So overall, this was actually a really fun project for me. Like, I'm glad that I did this. I know that I don't often do, like, these kind of games, things like that, but, like, I had the opportunity, and I thought it would be really fun to play this blind because I'd never played Final Fantasy 1 before, and it was simple, but I enjoyed the simplicity. After playing so many RPGs lately that take, like, 60 to 150 hours total, having a JRPG that I can go through in about 12 hours, and like this series ended up being in even 20 parts, and every individual part could cover just one area in only about 30 minutes. I like that. It was nice keeping everything sort of concise like that. Like I said, I didn't feel like anything in this game overstayed its welcome, and one thing that I will say, I love the class change. It may be the only true side quest in this game, well, apart from the Excalibur, but, I think it's actually one of my favorite side quests in any JRPG I've played, because it doesn't take you that far off the beaten path, from the main quest, and you can stumble upon it if you're just exploring or if you talk to NPCs, and yet it's also completely optional. It doesn't take too long to do, and the reward is very well worth it. So yeah, I really like the class change quest. And as for the game itself, like again, it's simple, but I do kind of like that puzzle structure to it, where, you know, you have to go all around places, you have to remember which NPCs want which items, and I only needed to look up a guide once. I managed to get by just entirely on talking to the NPCs, because yeah, if you're genre savvy enough, you, in all old RPGs, always do this. Talk to every NPC in every town, because that's usually how the plot progresses. They tell you to go somewhere, or to do something, or about something, and that's where you need to go next. And yeah, I mean, speaking of plot, admittedly this game's plot does get a little bit crazy and convoluted towards the end with the time loop, but it's kind of funny how on brand that is for Final Fantasy. Like, you know, no offense intended or anything, but like Final Fantasy games, a lot of the later ones are known for having really crazy plots. It's kind of funny. The only other one I've played as of this date on the channel is 12, and 12 is very bizarrely grounded by Final Fantasy standards. Like, it has one of the least out there plots of the series. And, yeah, like, just the fact that this one had time travel and time loops and all of that, it's just, again, and science fiction elements. Like, it's all been there from the beginning. It's just kind of cool to see where this all started. And, so anyway, about this game, the problem is, it's hard for me to really give my thoughts on exactly how good of a remake Pixel Remaster is, because I never played the original. And, I would say that, oh, this is great because it leads a new, you know, generation to experience this game, but this game has already had a whole ton of other re-releases. Like, it's been re-released on the freaking Wonder Swan of all things, Bandai Namco's handheld console that was kind of like a halfway between the Game Boy Color and the Game Boy Advance. So, like, yeah, most people have had plenty of opportunities to try this game. I'm very surprised that I haven't actually tried it myself at this point. But, I will say, I like the music. I think the music is really good. But I've listened to a few of the original songs at this point, and some of them are a bit different in the remaster. In particular, Mount Gulg. I think I like the PSP version of the remaster remix of that song better. But the soundtrack is really good. In particular, Chaos Shrine and the Water Shrine. That song is just beautiful. I could listen to that all day. Also, I really do like the pixel art style. They do try and recreate the original sprites as much as they can, and that is pretty cool when a lot of the other re-releases do change things pretty radically. Like, on the one hand, I do think the promoted class sprites don't have the charm that the originals do, but at the same time, I kind of like that. Like, the fact that they look so different and they look a lot more, you know, big, macho chins. I don't know how to describe the art style, but, like, you get what I mean about the promoted sprites. The fact that no other re-release looks like that, there is a bit of charm to that, and overall, it's weird. Like, I have never been into the HD 2D art style of games like Octopath Traveler and especially Triangle Strategy when I tried the demo. Everything just looks so dark and muted. Here, I much prefer the brighter colors, and Yeah, it's just, I like the art style overall, and I think the music's pretty nice. The only other point I have against this remaster is that it does lose out on some of the new content from the GBA version, but at the same time, I think that's probably more of an issue for FF2 than it is for FF1, because the extra content in the GBA version of this game was just a few dungeons, and as I was saying during the Chaos Shrine, some of them are like 40 floors long, which I feel just doesn't work for this game. This game needs to keep things simple and concise, and in a game that's battle system is so basic for the most part, you really don't want any dungeon to overstay its welcome, and nothing I felt in this game did, but it easily could if, you know, they threw a 44 dungeon at you. And speaking of the battle system though, I will say that while it is fairly simple, and the NES version is definitely let down by a lot of the spells being useless and bugged, which probably made Chaos way harder, but Chaos, that was actually a really good final battle. Like, I was impressed. That actually made me think. Most of the other fights leading up to that, I was just kind of mindlessly just going, okay, I just cast Haste and Temper on Warrior and Monk, and then everyone else just go auto battle. But Chaos, buffs were important for that. I needed to stay on my toes. I needed to use items. I needed to keep healing. And okay, the one point of criticism that I do have for that fight, though, is it seems like you are not guaranteed to have him use Kuraja and fully heal himself. And if that is random, then I don't think that's good design. But everything else about that boss fight is amazing. Like, honestly, like, that impressed me. I don't know if it was like that in... I don't know if it was like that in the NES version at all, but I just, like, I don't know, like, I'm still running on a bit of adrenaline from that Chaos fight. I think that would, like, legitimately, that is actually one of my favorite final bosses that I've faced in an RPG. It's just really surprising in a game that was otherwise so easy that the final boss gave me a legitimate challenge, and apart from Kuraja, it didn't feel unfair at all. Like, I felt like I had some method of countering everything that he did. Of course, like, that, you know, my first attempt, though, when I had, like, only Cetro left and I had to just get in that cycle of reviving and stuff, at that point, I kind of already lost. You sort of don't, like, you don't want to let too many people go down, especially your white mage, if you have one. Yeah, speaking of which, in the NES version, I've seen a run with all white mages, and the Fear spell has like a tiny chance of working on Chaos, and if it works, he runs away, and you win that way. So, I've seen a video of that once, and it's just kind of amazing. But with that, yeah, so, yeah, overall, this was a really fun project, and I kind of like how... why is there a manager tabletop game? That's interesting. I don't know why that's there. I don't know if there is like a Final Fantasy 1 tabletop game, unless they're talking about like the card game or something, but anyway. I used to do like some platformer series in between major projects, and recently those have become a bit more stressful, namely because in the Crash Bandicoot games I've had to go for all the Platinum Relics, and that is... kind of a pain, and not exactly a relaxing break in between series, I'll just say. So, having like a JRPG that I can play as a short series to record, like that took less than 12 hours, that was pretty refreshing, and because of that, I'm kind of looking forward to eventually playing Final Fantasy 2 and 3 on the channel. I might end up playing 3 first, because 3 is actually closer to this game in terms of gameplay than 2 is. 2 is far more story-driven as well. Honestly, I'm really interested to play 2 as well, because 2 is a very experimental game, and it's a very love or hate game, so I really want to see how I end up feeling about it. But 3 is also a game that I'm very eager to play, because never played that before, don't know much about it apart from the final dungeon. Because I will say that in this game, the final dungeon I felt was a bit lackluster, but it was made up for by Chaos. Chaos was a great boss fight. So yeah, overall I had fun with this. One final thing that I want to say before we leave things here, and that is that I would like to thank Mariland. Now, I don't want to go into total detail about this, but Maryland was actually the person who helped the people who wanted to give me the review copy of this game get in touch with me, because I don't have a whole lot of presence on social media, and that's for a number of reasons. Mainly, I just don't like Twitter, and most of my other social medias are for my own personal life, not my YouTube channel. So, yeah, for a lot of... it's a bit awkward for people trying to get in touch with me, but yeah, thanks for that, because, yeah, without him, this series wouldn't have been possible. So, with that, I kind of want to go off the end screen, because I want to try and, data save progress up to the final boss. Okay, I want to just go ahead and, do, like, a save here. I don't know if there's, like, a New Game Plus or anything, but what I want to show is, oh, and I got the achievement there, is I want to see what I missed in the bestiary. So, we got pretty much everything here. If the only enemy I'm missing is the war mech, I'm going to be a little bit annoyed. It's looking likely. It's looking very likely. Oh boy, yep, that's right before Tiamat. Okay, I am missing one thing after Tiamat, though. And yeah, these versions of the four fiends are separate enemies. Okay, you're no longer weak to fire, only weak to deer. Okay, interesting. Yes, we can see what Chaos' stats. We're not even allowed to see Chaos' stats, okay. That's kind of a shame. Oh, 5,500 HP, that's actually pretty decent. That's why it took you a while to go down. Apparently, Tiamat could be affected by Scourge in the original game too, and you got a weapon that casts it. So, I'm only missing 2 entries. Now, I know one of them is the War Mech, but I'm not sure what the other one is. It's probably somewhere in the Chaos Shrine. I hope it's not as rare as the War Mech. Also, yeah, there's a music player and there's a gallery, which lets you see some, like, art here of a lot of the enemies and stuff in... basically, yeah, this original art style. I forget the name of the artist of this game, but they had a really, really unique style. Yeah, like this in particular, just this... It's hard to describe it. They use this for FF6 as well. In a way, I'd actually kind of like a Final Fantasy game that tried to emulate this art style as closely as possible, because I don't think the NES and SNES and even Pixel Remaster sprites really look anything close to this. It would be cool if we got a game that did look like that. But what I was going to show here is... battling the Behemoth. I showed this art during the FF12 playthrough. Behemoths aren't actually in FF1, but they are, I think, in 2, but it seems like their design was conceived this early, because this is pretty much how Behemoths look in later games in the series. Maybe they were intended to be in this game, but they weren't finished. But yeah, with that, I think I'll leave you here, and I will see you next time in my next series. So, this is Big Clingy signing off.